You know, I just realized that like all of the nameless are just dead. You know, the ones that Pom Pom came to like told us to like look for and whatnot. They're just dead now.
Greetings. We're the Nameless from the Astral Express. My name is Dan Hao.
Me? I'm Pom Pom.
He's my fellow trailblazer.
I do recall that Mr. Sunday, the Oak family head, personally handled this issue earlier. Oh, please wait a moment while I contact him.
You can't. He's dead.
Stressing out about it won't help anything.
Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it.
Neither the staff nor the guests seem to know anything about what's happening in the dreamscape.
Good evening, gentlemen.
I have an order for a bottle of his Donna's White Oak. Can you help us find it?
Are you leaving, esteemed guests? Would you like to cancel that as Donna's White Oak you just ordered?
Huh?
Looks like your memo keeper friend has finally arrived.
I'll be waiting for you on the Astral Express.
Ooh.
2 guests just boarded saying they were looking for Boot Hill.
Wait, 2 guests.
Look, we welcome all passengers on the Astral Express, but sneaking in like that, you have no regard for etiquette.
Finally, Memo Keeper. Spill everything you know.
That's precisely what I intend to do.
How about this? I'll put a few bullet holes in your head and see what secrets spill out.
I kindly request an immediate warp jump out of the Astana star system.
Oh shit. Oh, what is that in the background? Oh, why are there arms on the floor? Are you the Christian church?
Now, please, leave in peace.
Swear to God, is he like supposed to be a priest or some shit? Like,
I sold everything to get a ticket. My house, my land, and my 2 children.
what the fuck?
And I hoped they'd have a chance at survival if they became slaves here.
Huh?
If I can strike it rich here, I'll lift them out of that situation and give them the life they deserve.
Bro, you sold them. How the fuck are you gonna do that? What, are you gonna buy them back?
The family is ready to forgive all sinners.
I wouldn't forgive that.
You don't need to live in fear anymore.
I feel like he should.
I wasted half a pizza at breakfast and a bottle of Soul Glass.
Death, he must die. How dare you waste pizza?
Brother, are you all right?
And good morning.
I'm
Sunday morning.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
I've been working long hours.
We'll do our best to explain everything to the Dream Master. I'm sure he'll understand.
That guy's insane. I don't know what you're talking about. I have a sneaking suspicion that he's going to take over their bodies.
Not everyone really has a future.
What the fuck? That's dark.
If that were true, then only the powerful would have the right to determine the future.
I think that's what he's saying, Robin. I don't trust your brother.
But if people don't live for the future, do they merely exist for survival?
Are we having this existential conversation?
Brother, don't believe that the harmony will save the weak. Then which eon can make our dreams come true?
Probably the Order one, right?
I heard that before the Charmony Festival begins, there'll be a pageant to kick off the festival. So long as we clinch the top spot, we'll be able to attain the title of Festive Superstar. We can enter the Grand Theater
March?
before the audience arrives.
Oh, that's true. You could do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sports and All. This is where challengers thrive and dream chasers shine, all under the watchful eye of the entire universe.
Let's get started. What is this? Hello? Argenti? There's just no voice lines? Is it just glitched, or did you just not put voice lines?
Are you
Huh?
Light of Beauty?
Okay, so I'm going to come out and assume that Argenti just has broken voice lines. I'm gonna be honest, Argentia, I don't really give a shit. Do you mind if we just kind of skip this? Let's go.
Bear witness. To
Trickier to crack.
Oh, you're making me play this? You're rude.
Together as one. More enemies in the kingdom.
Kill my teeth. That was not remotely enough.
I weep for the departed. It will fall.
Thank God, I was about to die. Let's go. All right.
Congratulations to the both of you on becoming the festive superstars of this year's Charmony Festival. My sister, Mr. Yang, and I have met with the Dream Master. We delved into the truth about Penacony and its Stellaron, and have come to a consensus. Both I and the Oak family cannot acquiesce to your request.
I figured.
Oh, triple-faced soul, please sear his tongue and palms with a hot iron, so that he will not be able to fabricate lies and make false vows.
Let us begin. There is nothing else to prepare.
Do you swear to fulfill all vows, past, present, and future?
With the Eon as my witness, if I do not deliver on my words, or if I renege on my vows, may I be cursed in accordance with divine law.
They have seen your faith, and have endorsed your faith. With this, it can be evidenced...
Just a moment.
What is it, Mr. Yang?
I have another question I hope to have answered. To my understanding, the family's harmony and prosperity have never relied on so-called divine laws.
Ooh. Oh!
The god you both mentioned, are they truly Xipe? It isn't an outsider lurking in the shadows who changed the harmony, but a dissonance that has surreptitiously emerged from within this very symphony itself.
Discord.
Mr. Yang, being overly astute can be a detriment, especially when you find yourself alone and without allies.
So this is how it is.
For the sake of our grand cause, Sunday, please afford these two an opportunity to rest.
What?
That's right, they don't believe in Xipe.
Sorry, Robin. It's just you. I did not wish for you to know this. It's a pity that things have turned out this way. True bliss can only be guaranteed by the one who transcends the many. Within the foundation of law, humanity establishes civilization, and through harmony,
we obtain
order.
What have you done with Mr. Yang and Miss Robin?
Don't worry, I just gave them some time alone to ponder their fates.
Harmony itself as an idea isn't one that punishes those for their sins. The idea of harmony is like people getting along together, and if someone doesn't get along, then they don't really do anything about it. They're just like, oh, they just feel icky about it. That's it. The idea of punishment is more aligned with order.
Let us retrace our steps and see once again where this road leads.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole.
The road we once took begins here.
Yo.
From this point,
this guy's crazy.
You will witness the numerous decisions I've faced. I've selected a portion of these to share with you. I believe after going through similar predicaments, you'll be able to better understand my thoughts. The first decision, a story about a baby bird.
Bruh.
What choice would you make? Stick to the original plan and build a nest with soft net where the Charmony dove fell, or build a cage for it and feed it, giving it the utmost care from within the warmth of a home.
Okay, so then the question is, he did that one and it died. But if he did that, it would have still died. So then he feels like his thing was mute. But I would still do this. Like, you wouldn't know it was gonna die until the moment that it died. Like, this argument is solely based on hindsight. That because you found out that through what you have chosen to do, the bird would have died regardless, even though you put it in a cage, makes that choice wrong. It's inherently flawed because you wouldn't know that unless you did it to begin with. And so you can only make that conclusion on a second bird.
Let me reveal the outcome of this choice.
The bird still dies as a result. It doesn't matter. The point being is that no matter what would have happened, I would have still done this option.
I deeply regret the choices we made. Next, let us head to the second decision, and an illegal stowaway.
Right, the guy who sold
like
his
the rest of them,
fucking family.
the price he paid, I suppose you could say it was everything.
It was everything. He sold everything. He even sold his kids.
Will you do as I did, and try to convince the Bloodhound family to stop their pursuit, so that the Dream Chaser may live peacefully and realize his wishes? Or will you remain silent, leaving him to languish while the hounds are hot on his heels, until his inevitable judgment arrives?
Let's run that thought process through its course. The fact that there was a tragedy that happened in the first place has no bearing whether he had the hounds behind his back or if they weren't. The only thing that changes is the fact that he would probably be able to do things a lot slower if they weren't on his back. If they were on his back, then he would have to rush through the process of things. Regardless of what you do here, he would have done the same thing. You are trying to suggest that you are the main issue in all of these problems that have been caused because you decided to follow and obey Harmony. His entire argument is like, if you agree with everything that he does, then you're just as dumb as him, and thus you should reach the same conclusion that he did. Or if you even, let's say, even remotely agree with one of them, then you're saying that you agree with him now that all of these choices are the correct thing to do. It's like, it's a lose-lose situation. He's trying to just prove himself right by giving you questions that vilify what he's saying. People can say that you're like oblivious or that you're naive or whatever. Again, those statements come from hindsight because they would already know the individual or the situation would have already happened. There is nothing in this situation that would suggest to you that this person was fully intent on doing malice, especially with the whole situation with the selling their children to slaves. It is abundantly the worst thing that he has done. But if you take a moment, stop and think, if he already can't feed his own children, selling them to slavery would be akin to putting them up for adoption in this case. No matter how badly they're being treated, right? A slave owner is never going to hurt their property to the point where it ceases to lose all of its value, because then it doesn't feel like it's valuable. And it's just a shitty way to talk about people, right, as property. But that is their mentality. To an extent, no matter how poorly the children were treated, like either it's like physical or like emotional abuse or even like verbal, they would at least gotten the bare minimum that he has established, which would have been food. Would it be a nice existence? Probably not. I mean, they are slaves, but at least they would continue to exist, and that would open up the time for him to continue with his plan and then get his children back, right? And from what it sounds like, right, from what it seems to be implied, this guy decided to do something shady so that he can get money really quickly to abandon his children entirely and live in Pentagonia, living the dream life.
I'll share with you the dire consequences that my choice back then brought about.
Sure!
When I asked him about his 2 children, he instead responded with a question. What children?
Literally what I said. Like, it's so obvious what he's doing here. It's honestly surreal that I'm being proven correctly, because sometimes I usually get these things wrong. This type of storytelling is so simplistic, suggesting that these are the reasons why you should take control of power for yourself so that you can mold the world to your reality makes you much as a villain as this man who sold his kids.
Next comes the third and final decision, and it was a letter from my sister.
To spread the word of the Harmony, and to save the lives of that planet she personally made for the front line.
That's crazy. Yo, she's braver than most people.
Unfortunately, stray bullets show no such compassion.
Now you understand why she always wears such elaborate neck ornaments. Would you still support Robin's journey on the path of harmony?
But okay, so here's the thing, right? This is the part where it's made it abundantly clear that you want to protect her by controlling her, and that isn't really protection. What you're doing is controlling. If someone genuinely wants to continue to do something, they will continue to do something, regardless if you try to stop them or not. They will find a way, just like life will. As Jeff Goldblum famously once said, I wouldn't stop her, because there's no reason to.
I see. I am now aware of everyone's stances. The plight of Penacony cannot be salvaged by the Harmony. The true foundation for a sweet dream
I literally called it.
Can only be established through the order, where the strong govern the weak.
Even if you chose the opposition, it still aligns with its exact same statement. You are telling them, this is how you're supposed to think, this is how you're supposed to live. It's restrictions. They can't truly ever feel happy with the restrictions. It is a complex conversation that you're trying to prove. It's a complex stance that you're even taking. By controlling them, they don't have freedom, and thus they can't truly be free, because no one would be happy if they're forced to do a specific option that isn't one they wanted to do. Alternatively, right, they can also still be unhappy because the choices that they have decided to make themselves could also be the wrong options that will give them regrets, such as yourself. But at least that would be slightly more happy than what you were trying to impose on everyone, because at the end of the day, it would have been their choice.
So what is your definition of living a happy life?
Honestly,
unite people's happiness under the banner of order. They won't need to make bitter choices any longer, nor face the weaknesses of humanity. They can cast aside their primal instincts to build a haven for mankind.
But you'll entirely create animosity between you and those who lack the power. Why do you think dictators constantly fail, my guy? People don't like being told what to do.
As you all may know, there are societal norms like weekends and long weekends that exist on some worlds. During these rest days, people are given the chance to extricate themselves from the stresses of everyday life. They can live out their lives happily during these brief intermissions. It's just a pity that 2 or 3 days are still too fleeting compared to the span of a lifetime.
Are you suggesting we make that the entire week? Because what that ends up being is pure boredom.
From where I stand, society's ideal system should be 7 rest days. And indeed an infinite procession of Sundays.
This is like the most vain thing. Bro said the most unintentional narcissistic thing I have ever seen.
This is what it is to live in bliss.
Your bliss is a lie.
It sounds like a flawless theory.
It's just in practice, it's very flawed.
But what is the price to attain all this?
Your freedom, your whole autonomy. You wouldn't be able to do anything for yourself, but everything would be given to you. Does that sound like a paradise? It does not, because at no point are there things that you want.
The cost is minute. If this paradise is to be maintained for everyone, someone must remain trapped in solitary awakening until the end of the cosmos.
And thus they will always feel resentment, right? You could say it's a noble cause, right? But at some point they will eventually begin to hate those that they are keeping in bliss. a form of jealousy and envy.
But in this supposed bliss, people won't have defeated their demons. The chance to overcome their tribulations would be forever lost to them. In other words, it is an escape.
That's another way of understanding it. But
It's the only correct way.
Your perspective on humanity brims with pessimism. Unlike you, I live for the self. From my perspective, individuals making choices for themselves is their birthright.
Yeah.
It is not up to another to decide.
Tell him our choice.
I want to actually be serious.